What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, this video is about my delivery, my labor and delivery story. Let's just jump right into it like always. Alright, so if you are coming back to this video from the last video I made of my pregnancy journey, I'm starting off from there, which was at June 9th, 10 a.m. morning time. So the whole entire night after I left the hospital, I was feeling nauseous, I was tired, I was uncomfortable. What made me so mad about that, I remember my aunt telling me one time that the day that I know that I'm gonna go into labor, I'm gonna have the best sleep of my life. I was hoping for that day because I did not get any sleep for 9 fucking months. So I was hoping, you know, what she said was true. Did I get any sleep? Fuck no. I tried going to sleep. That night, of course, Alex knocked the fuck out as soon as we got home. I was trying to get comfortable each and every way possible I could, but every time I would doze off or kind of fall asleep, I would wake up with a sharp pain, which was a contraction. And each time it would come, they would get so much stronger. And I'd fall back asleep, then another one would wake me up, and it was just like that up until 10 a.m. It was like literally the worst thing. I was trying so hard not to like make noise because Alex was asleep. And he had to work the next day, like, because I wasn't for sure, you know, I was in labor or anything. With my contractions, I wasn't for sure. But he was sleeping, so I wasn't trying to make noise, and I wasn't trying to let everybody know, you know, that I was hurting in the house. I didn't want nobody to hear me. And the whole time, Marmito was like, Marmar, my dog, he was like right by my legs. He was just like staring at me each time I'd have a contraction, because I was like dying. Like I'd wake up and go, or I was just like moaning like that, like into the pillow, and I was just like holding on to the covers or something, you know, like, oh my god, it's like remembering it and it just feels like that shit was yesterday or something. So I was waiting for Alex to get up. Did his ass ever wake up? No. He ended up finally waking up almost, yeah, it was like 10 a.m. So, like 10 to 10:30. I couldn't take it anymore. I told him, let's go to the hospital. It hurts to the point where I'm crying, but I'm also a sensitive ass little girl. So I get my bag, I get a pillow, because having my legs closed, I don't know, it just seems so much more uncomfortable. So I got a pillow to like keep in between my legs. And so we're on the way. We're like about 20 minutes away from the hospital. I live in Snellville, but I'm really close to Conyers, so Rockdale Hospital isn't that far from me. I'm not sure how far Gwinnett Hospital is. I've never been there, but I'm used to the Rockdale one, so that's where I was going, and I don't think it's that far either. Anyways, so I'm telling Alex to hurry up. Each contraction, I'm just like going like this, trying to like, you know, get comfortable enough for my contraction to pass. So he's hauling ass, and if you've ever been to Conyers and you know that road right there, Highway 20, that's the road we were going on. And if you know that road, it's like one really long ass road. And you know, on my way to the hospital, I felt like it was like 30 minutes to an hour away. Like that's how long that drive felt. And then they put these stupid little bumps to like slow you down before you get to the stop sign. Oh my god, it made it so much worse. So I don't know if I mentioned it in my last video, but we went to try to go get something to eat before we went to the hospital the night before. But I really didn't eat anything, so we go to Church's because I'm still hungry. Like I said, I didn't really eat, and I get some food. I could barely even eat. Like, I was trying to eat through my contractions, but those bitches were so, like, coming so much stronger, and then the fact that I felt nauseous didn't help at all. But no, there goes Alex eating his food away like nothing is like happening to him. Everything is peachy keen. Of course, he doesn't have to suffer, so he's just like breathing his food in, and it's pissing me off because my contractions are coming on stronger, and I'm just like, can you hurry the fuck up so we can go to the hospital? The hospital is literally right across the street from Church's, so I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal, but you know, them contractions, boy, those are a big deal. So I literally made him breathe his food in. And you know, we're on the way to the hospital, which is across the street. As soon as we park into the fucking parking lot, you know, as soon as he put the car in park, my water broke. All I felt was like a pop and then a gush. Like, have you ever been on your period and you've had like a heavy period with kind of mild clotting, like blood clots, and then you've ever like sat down for a long time and you get up and then you feel something come out? Sorry if this is too graphic for you. You can exit this video now, but don't forget to like it. But that's exactly how it felt, but so much bigger. And then it started from the top of my uterus, I guess, I don't know, and then it slowly came out, like the pop and then the gush, and I was just like, oh my god, I think my water just broke. And he goes, wait, what? And what's so funny about this is that Alex is such clean freak. Like, anything I dirty, like if I even to have this Carmex lying around on the floor, he goes, why do you have the room so dirty? You always have stuff thrown around on the floor. And I'm just like, chill the fuck out, it's just a Carmex. He goes, yeah, but you be having these, my ligas and my bobby pins thrown around on the floor and stuff like that. And I'm just like, oh my god. And then in the car, I leave receipts and straw papers. And so I was like, I hope my water breaks in your car since you're always complaining about me having it dirty. My wish came true, but it didn't get everywhere in the car, sadly. I didn't dirty it with my water breaking. And I think my mucus plug was coming out too, so as soon as my water broke, those contractions, man, there's like literally no way to explain the pain that I felt when those contractions came on. 100 times stronger. Like, they're like period cramps, but it's like a period cramp from Satan. He's like literally in there killing you. That's how I can explain it. Like, it hurts so bad. As soon as like my water broke, I got a contraction and I was screaming in the car, and he was getting a wheelchair because there's no way in hell I was walking up those stairs or walking to the elevator or anything. So he goes get a wheelchair, you know, trying to control my breathing. I'm shaky, and then another contraction comes and I'm just like, oh my god. So we get up to the labor+delivery floor and I have to re-fucking sign in. I don't know why, because I was there just a couple hours ago, and I had to sign some papers again. And they're, you know, they asked if we were married, and because if we were married, he could have signed for me, but hell no, I wish at that point in time we were married just so he could have signed papers for me. And I'm just like trying to sign shit while contractions are coming on, and they're like, you know what, sweetie, take your time. And I'm just thinking in my head, I don't want to fucking take my time, I want this girl out of me right now. And so another contraction's coming on, these contractions are just coming on like back to back, and it was just like hell. It was hell for me. And through all that, I was just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I ruined your chair, like I'm leaking everywhere. And they were like, it's okay, sweetie, it happens all the time. And then at the back of my mind I was just like, ew, that's fucking gross. We sign in, they're like, oh yeah, you're in labor. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Oh yeah, you're in labor. Hell yeah, I'm in labor. Like, don't you see me in pain right now? And at first they were gonna take me into a room where I guess they check you first instead of going into the labor and delivery room. And I tell them that my water broke, and then, you know, my contractions are this and this apart, and they're like, oh no, yeah, you're in labor. And so they, you know, they set up a room for us, tell me to take off my clothes. And Alex is just like the most helpful person ever. Like, me thinking, you know, he wasn't, because I was grossed out by what was happening down in my pants. He helps pull my pants down, and I don't remember how it looked, but I'm pretty sure it looked pretty disgusting in there because of my water and my mucus plug. And another contraction was coming out, and I thought she was like gonna fall out of me because I was standing up. And I was just like, oh, holding onto the bed and like basically squatting. I thought I was gonna like push her out or something. And then the nurse comes in, you know, she's helping Alex help me get onto the bed and change because I'm all disgusting by now. I'm having contraction after contraction. And for some reason, every time I had a contraction, keeping my legs closed was so uncomfortable. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but it was so uncomfortable. So whenever I did have a contraction, I told Alex to hold my leg up. It just felt so much better, like having them spread apart and then having one leg up, my left leg actually. I was just like, hold my leg up, a little bit higher, a little bit, you know, more to the side. And he goes, why? I'm like, I don't know, it just feels better, like, because having my legs closed hurt and was so much more uncomfortable. So there's that. We're in the room. The nurse comes in, she asked me if I want an epidural. I was like, no, I don't want an epidural. And the reason why I said no was because I have scoliosis. Not severe scoliosis, but it's pretty bad to where my back is always hurting. And when I was pregnant, it made it hurt so much worse. And I looked up people who had epidural, like, does it affect scoliosis? Can you get an epidural with scoliosis? And I was reading some people's one side of their body went numb, or one part of the body went numb, not all of it. So like that kind of scared me into not wanting an epidural. So I didn't get one. They checked my cervix. I was dilated 4 centimeters, and that's why she asked me if I wanted an epidural. At this point, I don't know what time it is. All I know is that I'm really pissed off and annoyed because these contractions are just coming on so much stronger. Like, I wanted to cry, but from how angry I was at these contractions, because they were just coming back to back and they weren't letting me take a break, and I was already so exhausted. I was mad. I was so freaking mad at these contractions. Like, I legit wanted to cry, but I could not cry from how mad I was. I don't know if anyone's ever been that mad about something, or, you know, like, you know, when you're in pain, sometimes stuff, you know, obviously you cry. I couldn't cry for some reason. I was just so angry. And I was just like turning over, holding on to stuff, squeezing Alex, screaming, moaning, just like, oh my god, get her out of me. So the nurse comes in, she feels my cervix, and all of a sudden she says that I am 9 centimeters, and I blow my shit. I'm having a contraction, and I'm just like, what do you mean I'm 9 centimeters? Like, I was yelling, but not necessarily at her. I was yelling because of the contraction. She goes, hold on, don't push. And I'm like, I need to push. I didn't have to push. She comes back with another nurse. You know, I'm not dilated 9 centimeters, I'm still 4. So after all that is happening, I was like, Alex, go get the nurse. Tell her I want an epidural. Like every time like I would talk or whatever, I'd have another contraction. So every time I would talk, I'd just be yelling it. So finally the guy comes in to get my epidural, to give me my epidural. At that point also my mom and my sisters are there. And they asked me who I want to be in the room with me while I get my epidural. Obviously I choose Alex. At that point I really don't give a flying you know what about who sees me naked. I was so like, I was so bothered at the fact that, you know, I didn't want everybody to be looking at me while I was naked. At that point, I didn't even care if Jesus Christ himself came down to earth and saw my legs wide open. Like, when I remember back on it, I just remember that, you know, the guy came in and they had to pull me up to like sit up or whatever and then like turn around and sit down. I just remember my vagina just being all out. And honestly, I was really like not wanting nobody to see me like that, because I'm such like a closed off person and I'm shy, and I mean nobody really wants somebody else or a whole bunch of other people looking at them down there. So I mean at that point I'm already out of it. I don't even give a fuck. Give me my epidural. So in the midst of getting my epidural, I'm getting another contraction. The nurse that I had in the beginning, she was like the nicest lady ever. The first nurse that I had in the beginning, she was like the sweetest one that I had out of all of them. Like she was really helpful. She was telling me how to control my breathing, you know, to calm down, but not in a rude way, like in a really nice way. And I really liked her, and I really wish I remembered her name, but I don't remember anybody's names. I just remember faces. But I don't think I'd remember hers because, like I said, I was in and out at that point. So she goes, Jessica, sweetie, I need you to relax. I need you to calm down, because if you move while he's trying to put in his epidural, you know, things can go south. And I was just like, okay. And at that point I'm still not able to fucking cry. Like I'm trying to make myself cry for some reason, like because I was just so angry. I didn't want to be angry. I wanted to like cry, but I still couldn't cry. So like the whole time he's putting my epidural in, I'm trying to stay so still, and it's like I fall asleep at, you know, a little bit. And then she goes, all right, we're all done. And I didn't really feel anything. I just felt like a little pinch, and that's it. And then afterwards my epidural started to kick in. I felt nothing. I felt like I was literally on cloud 9. And I think also that my contractions made me high, because I just remember signing in the pain of my epidural, the pain of my contractions, telling the nurse, you know, I want my epidural, then putting in my epidural. But between that, I don't really remember anything else, as well as the rest of the day, like the stuff that happened in between certain events that happened. I don't know. I think contractions make you high, because I felt like I was high. I felt like I wasn't there anymore. Well, obviously I was there, but you know, I felt like I wasn't really there. You know, like my state of mind, if that makes sense. I don't know if you've ever had, you know, if your contractions ever been that strong or whatever. Let me know if you've ever felt the same way, because I don't know if it's just me or what. After my epidural, like I was just so tired and sleepy. I just remember like dozing on and off basically. This point, Alex's parents and his sister is there, and it's only 3 people allowed in the room at that time. And everybody just keeps taking turns and whatnot. And I think it was 3 or 4 people, I don't remember. I think it was 3, but my sister kept going in there whenever she felt like it, so everybody's taking turns. I'm basically like in and out of consciousness. I'm so tired at that point. And I feel no emotion. I'm just like so exhausted mentally and physically, like so exhausted. I just want to sleep, but you know, they just keep coming in. The nurses keep coming in, checking on Avery. They have me all hooked up and stuff like that. And then the most annoying person ever, my sister, she starts recording, which is this video you'll see now. And warning, I look a hot entire mess. I look like I got ran over, but it's just, I was in labor, y'all, so y'all can't really say nothing. For those who go in there with all glam and shit and start doing their makeup, props to you. And it's just like, how and why would you even do that if you're like going through all that pain? I mean, I guess everybody's delivery is different, but that's the way I was looking and feeling, and this bitch decided to get it all on camera.
Hi Avery, it's your auntie. Can you see me? Oh. Okay. Okay, you can see me now. Oh, okay. So Avery, you're gonna be born soon. Say hey, Jessica. Jessica, say hey. Hey. Say hey, everyone. Avery is gonna be born. Today is June 9th, 6:23 p.m. 2017. What?
How many times are you gonna say today is?
Because she has to know the date and the time. Anyways.
Ew, stop.
When you look back at this video, you're gonna see your mom and your grandma and your dad. Bye. Hi, stop it. Did it stop?
So there's how that went. I didn't get to record my delivery on camera because my sister was supposed to be in there, but one of the nurses I had, she was being a bitch basically, and she was kind of rude basically. I didn't really like her, but anyways, like I said, you know, I have like no concept of time at this point. Like I'm just on cloud nine, like I said. Everybody's coming in. Alex keeps checking them. She was kind of rude basically. I didn't really like her, but anyways, like I said, you know, I have like no concept of time at this point. Like I'm just on cloud nine, like I said. Everybody's coming in. Alex keeps checking up on me. My mom, everybody keeps asking me how I'm feeling. I'm just like, I want her out of me. Like I'm just so tired. And I think 7 o'clock comes, 7:30 or 7, I'm not sure, I don't remember. They check my cervix. They say that I am dilated 10 centimeters and that I can actually start pushing. So at this point, I think before I started pushing, Alex wasn't in the room. I was like, wait, no, Alex has to be in here. I think he went to go get something to eat with it. So I think we waited on him, but they're prepping everything. And he comes in and it's time to pop this girl at my cooch. So they're telling me to push. For starters, like my doctor wasn't in there yet. She didn't come in. She didn't want it to be in there yet until Avery was literally basically coming out. So at first I'm like pushing softly. We're trying to push, and that was because my epidural was so strong, y'all. I could not feel myself pushing. Like they had to basically stop the medicine for the epidural so I could basically feel myself push. Like the way you push is pooping basically. You gotta push as if you were pooping, and then like I am pushing like I'm pooping. Like what do you mean? Like I was trying so hard, but I could not feel anything from the waist down. Everything was just numb. You could like run over my legs and I wouldn't have felt it. So they turned that off. Gotta wait a good minute, and then I start pushing again. And I'm pushing, but she's not wanting, like every time I would push, you could see her head, and after I stopped pushing, she just like go back in. Sounds really weird. So basically I push her out, but then after I stop pushing, my vagina just suck her back in or something, I don't know. And I think I pushed for a good 2 hours or hour and a half, because I ended up having her around my doctor comes in, and I think that's when I started to feel myself more down there, when I was able to push. And the doctor was like, oh, I see her. And then everybody's just looking at my freaking vagina. Alex, my mom, Alex's mom, and they're like, oh, I can see her, I can see her head. And I'm just like, just get this girl out of me. Like literally, I'm just so done. I want her out of me now, today, at this moment. Like I just want it all over with, because I'm just so exhausted. So I'm pushing, but then she keeps going in, and that went on for a good minute, until finally I push, and I think the doctor, like, you know, takes her upper body out, which is just her shoulders and her head. She goes, all right, now what I want you to do for me is reach down and get your baby. I'm like, what? Wait, what? She goes, get your baby, pull her out. So I'm literally pushing, kinda, and then I grab Avery from her shoulders. Oh, she's about to fall. I grab Avery from her shoulders, and I basically pull her out of my vagina, and then I flop her on my chest. And my baby was born around 8. What time were you born? 8:40 or 8:50. Don't exactly remember. I'd have to look at her papers. And everybody's crying. They're like, congratulations, mama, you did wonderful. And I'm just like, I'm fucking over this. Like, I'm so tired, I want to go to sleep. And from how exhausted I was, you know, everybody around me was crying except me. Like, I kind of shed a tear, but not really. I was just so over the process. I really didn't have time to process the thought that, you know, my baby is finally here and she's finally out of me. But I was just so over it and exhausted, you know, that I didn't really have time to cry. Everybody else in the room was crying for me. So, and then, you know, she didn't really cry when she came out. She just made like a couple cries, and that's it. They checked her weight. She weighed 6'11", I believe 18 or 19 inches, and she came out with the cone head. Yeah, my baby came out with the cone head. And the reason of that was because, like I said, when I was pushing, she'd come out, but then she'd go back in. And when the baby stay in the canal, their heads are really soft, so it's molding. Their heads are molding certain ways in order to be able to fit through you. Obviously, it ended up going down, but her head is still a little bit flat from the back. And the doctors told me to keep switching her and stuff like that, but I'll get into that in the other video. But so they're, you know, checking her, and I was worried and concerned because she didn't really cry at all. She was just tired. She was tired just like me, I guess. She knocked right out. She was asleep. She was healthy and normal, besides her little cone head that she had, but I guess that was my fault for not pushing hard enough. And so they wrap her up, or I think they take her, I don't really remember. Alex, of course, he cut the umbilical cord, and I thought he was going to faint and all, because he's not really good with gross stuff like that, but he did a good job. And he was the first, well, obviously I was the first one to hold her because I put her on my chest. And she was like, babies are so ugly when they're born. Obviously she was ugly because, you know, all babies are ugly. Like, they come out looking like an uncooked turkey, basically. but she's the most beautiful uncooked turkey ever still. And after I pushed her out and everything, the doctor told me that she ripped me, so I ended up having to get a couple stitches down there that would dissolve on their own once I was fully healed. And then they start to, oh, I think they took out my placenta too. I didn't get to see it. Alex said he saw it. He said it was really small and it looked like meat, which was really weird explanation. The worst part comes where they start to push down on my stomach, and at that point I have no medicine in me anymore. Like, all my medicine is gone, and I can't get morphine or anything because there's one time where I came off of morphine and I had the worst panic attack of my life. So basically I guess I have a reaction to it when I come off, so I'm basically allergic or some shit, I don't know. And the only thing I could get was Motrin or Tylenol, or, you know, the epidural, which I had, but I'm no longer on it. And they start pushing down on my stomach, and they like rotate their hand to like get all the blood out. I start screaming, literally screaming. It felt like contractions all over again, but worse. Like, my labor didn't even feel like that because I didn't even feel it. But oh my god, it was the worst pain ever besides those contractions. Like, I'm just screaming every time they're just like pushing down on your stomach and the blood is just like coming out or whatever. And Alex said that was the nastiest part of it all, was seeing the blood come out, because I had like a whole bunch of blood come out and a whole bunch of clots. And I think they also took off the catheter. I had a catheter on me because since I did get an epidural, my pee was just going inside the bag. And after they did all that, that's basically it of my labor and delivery story. I really don't know what much to say other than the beginning was hell. Pushing her was not as much hell. I was just so tired, and then after it was hell again. And then being in the room, we were just settled in. She was just so tiny, man. Like, I can't believe she was that tiny. And now she's this big. I'm gonna cry again. Oh, my baby, my baby, my baby. But if you want to see my next video of postpartum and the first month with Avery, which is going to be titled Mom Life and Postpartum, stay tuned. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe. And we'll be back with Mom Life.